everybody, to the Chicago Sports Mayhem Show. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid. Ed, with me again today, everybody, is the one, the only legend, Ernie Krause. How we doing today, Ernie?
Thank you. It's quite an honor to be called a legend.
Is it though? Is it really an honor?
I mean, it's in a positive context, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
I'd say
I
I'd say
will
it's good.
say that. Um, Here's my question to you. How have you been doing, my guy?
Well, I've been keeping it together. It is my Friday, so I'm going into my weekend. The day did start a little rough with the baby being very gassy and then being late to work because, well, for anyone that doesn't know, I work at O'Hare, where
Okay, yeah.
employees enter. A train track runs alongside there, and the train was at a standstill. Now, thankfully, when I called work, someone else had already called in for the same thing, so my boss was not surprised. I had to take a detour. I didn't get in trouble because I called ahead of time, but no one likes being late for work, especially when it's a situation where it's out of your control. You can't help it, like a train that doesn't want to move.
Yeah, and Ernie, to get to the nitty and gritty, and you know, you do a lot over there nowhere, and you are one of the unsung heroes at the airport, in my
Say that again.
in my opinion. But to get to the nitty gritty of today's show, we're gonna update everyone on some World Cup action. And we're going to be talking some Cubs and White Sox in today's two segments because, hey, it is baseball season. It's June in Chicago.
Absolutely.
What else do we have to talk about? But speaking of the World Cup, going forward for the rest of the tournament, because I'm Dutch, everybody, um, we are going to be updating you on how the Netherlands national team is doing throughout this World Cup tournament. Um, and to talk about them, Ernie, let's talk about this Dutch national team and the fans that are getting so much media and social media attention in the towns that they are
I
in.
I am
And
very impressed.
let's talk about this for a sec. I mean, when you say it and when I say it, the Dutch army has made it to the US. What does that mean to you as a non-Dutchman, Ernie?
I would say, seeing all these different nations come to the United States, it is quite the party. I do like how much they are enjoying their stay over here, whether it's the Dutch in Dallas, the Japanese in Dallas, the Brits in Kansas City, the Scots in Boston, or even the Koreans in Mexico. It is quite the treat to see them, experiencing our culture, especially the Europeans, because Europeans like to crap on
Oh,
Americans, but
you know what I hate, guys? Is we were talking to Ernie this whole time, this first 4 minutes, and I had him muted because I am a dummy. So
oh
we're
no.
going to start some stuff over. Ernie, I know we were talking about what you were doing in O'Hare, and for the first 4 minutes of this episode, and I can't believe I did that. So,
No, hey, it's fine, it's fine.
everyone, I apologize out there who are going to be watching
At
this
least you
episode later
caught.
tonight.
At least you caught it.
Yes. Now, Ernie, you said your things at O'Hare, and you're, like I said, an unsung hero, and thank you for everything you do. But like I said, the Dutch Army has made it, and, you know, Ernie, it means a lot to me to see how these fan base has followed the team all the way to the U.S.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's something, Ernie, that, and we're going to take a look at this um, together. It's graphic. Dutch pride in the USA, and I talked to you about this before the show started. There's a bus that they bring to every major tournament that the national team plays at, whether it be men's or women's, and it's a double-decker bus that comes from Holland, spent 3 weeks at sea to get here in the U.S. And there's a picture you can
Jeez.
see now of it being offloaded in the U.S. And then the Dutch national team, which most are returning players this year, Virgil van Dijk is probably going to be his last World Cup, to be honest with you. And then you could just see a picture, and I showed you it before the show started, just the sea of orange that took over
Yes,
Dallas this weekend.
that is the number one color when it comes to the Dutch, orange, and even a little bit of black. I always liked how the Dutch have a very Halloween color scheme. That's just me.
Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing: you want to know why they have the color orange, Ernie?
It doesn't it go back to Dutch royalty?
It really does, and it's because it is the House of Orange. So you've always heard in England like the House of Windsor and all that. So in Holland, it's the House of Orange,
Okay.
or Oranje as it's pronounced in Dutch.
I see. I see.
But I mean, that's the biggest thing is I think the Dutch just have some of the best fans on the planet, and yeah, but some of these other matches, Ernie, and let me tell you, it was a great time to watch some of these matches. Some surprises too, wouldn't you say? Some surprises in there.
I will say, obviously, the one everyone talked about was the USA crushing Paraguay 4-1, and this is the same Paraguay team that's taken down Brazil. And did they take down Argentina? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember.
You follow soccer a lot more closely than I do.
And here's the big thing with that. I can't remember myself because this tournament is so big that a lot of these matches kind of meld together at a point.
I remember
and
watching
and you remember the big things.
Yeah.
Like Mbappe for France scoring 2 goals in their opening match of the tournament.
I remember watching Germany and Curacao. Germany scores like 5 minutes into the game.
Right.
And then, like, 10 minutes later, Curacao ties it, and you're like, okay, we've got a game. And then it ends 7-1 Germany.
Yeah, I mean, see, and that's the thing. It's Curacao. So did you really? And that's the one thing.
Yeah,
when you put Germany up against a nation like that, people,
you know,
this
I
is what's
told
going to
some
happen.
coworkers that I'm surprised they didn't have any of those Curacao guys on the Dutch team. Maybe I'm just so used to the baseball team always being comprised of guys from Curacao, but you know, that's just me.
And here's the thing. There's a lot of guys on the U.S. side of the ball that weren't born in the U.S. but are playing for the U.S. national team. So,
but
I mean, it just happens. But to go through some of these matches, yes, U.S. took down Paraguay 4-1. Now, here's what I'll say to that and everyone listening out there. They beat Paraguay 4-1. They got Australia coming up this weekend, Ernie.
How good is Australia?
They're a little better. So if
crikey.
If they can fare well against Australia this weekend, I think 2 black horses that are in this tournament are France and the U.S. A lot of people are saying don't sleep on the U.S. because of how past tournaments have gone, Ernie, but I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing will beat the low of 2018 where they didn't even qualify. Like I've never had the highest of expectations for the U.S. men's team, generally speaking, but it's like 2018. Yeah, I'll never forget Alexi Lalas laying into them and calling them a bunch of soft tattooed millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was well deserved. It was very well deserved.
And that's one thing. And here's the thing. Argentina had their first match last night against Algeria. Now, how did I see this match going? Spoiler alert! Argentina won. Messi scored their first goal, of course.
Typical.
Here's the thing with that. Typical, yes. But we know that
Or I
here's the
I
thing.
should say
I don't even
expected.
know
Expected
if
would be
this
the
is-
better word to use.
Here's the thing, people. I don't even know if this is Messi's last World Cup because that's what he said last year. He said, "I'm gonna go out a champion. This is it." And here we are.
How old is he,
4 years later.
anyways?
He is 38 years old.
Oh,
and
dang.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who is still playing for Portugal.
I swear to God, Cristiano Ronaldo has been playing soccer almost as long as Tom Brady played football.
And he is still playing in
He's
this tournament.
41. I'm surprised. It feels like he should be 50 by now.
Put it to you this way. Messi made his World Cup debut in 2006.
Oh, my God. He was 18.
And he was 18. Yep, he was an 18-year-old.
That 06 World Cup, Zinedine Zidane with the headbutt.
Yeah,
A1.
I mean,
I remember watching that live and just like, holy cow.
You would assume that this is his last World Cup.
I mean, doing it for 20 years and you're nearing 40, usually that's when you hang it up.
The next one to come up will be 2030, and it will be hosted by España.
España.
Yep.
I will say this. I do also appreciate how the Europeans, we did not have to build stadiums for this. Qatar had to. We already had all these NFL stadiums, and it's, which were already world class because we've got Super Bowls, and it's like, let's just use those. Now, of course, up in Canada, BC Place, that's always used for the CFL, and so is BMO Field in Toronto, but BMO Field had to be expanded to 45,000 just to even qualify. And I know the temporary stands are structurally sound, but it kind of looks a little jank.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that
Yeah,
too.
but
yeah,
but it's not like they can do it at Rogers Center. They've had so many renovations at that place that it's basically locked in baseball position for the Blue Jays. So it's not like that that was possible.
And, we got some good matches coming up. This tournament is far from over, and that's the cool thing about this is the tournament is nowhere near done, guys.
Oh yeah,
we got a long way to go, but it's going to be fun to see. It is going to be fun to see without a doubt. And I don't know what else to say to that. It was just a fun-filled, an exciting week. The opening ceremonies were just amazing. Shakira came out and did her thing at one of them and beat the...
waka waka,
She came out, did her thing, and she beat the record watched by Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show this past year.
Good, because
So
I just prefer Shakira. I really do not care for Bad Bunny, but I do enjoy Shakira's music.
yeah.
So I'd say she earned that, and she has done World Cup stuff too, so it's appropriate. It's very appropriate.
Yeah. Tell you the truth, Ernie, stuff has been going on in the world of baseball, and when we come back, Ernie, we're gonna have to talk about this. A lot is going on, really, and
Oh yeah.
it needs to be unpacked. It needs to be divulged. Do your kids love fire engines and the fire service? Come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum in Elgin, Illinois, 533 St. Charles Street. If you want to get married on the back of a fire engine, come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum. Rentals of the building starting out just $100. Join the thousands of people who already view the doors. Don't wait, come now. Do your kids love fire engines and the fire service? Come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum in Elgin, Illinois, 533 St. Charles Street. If you want to get married on the back of a fire engine, come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum. Rentals of the building starting out just $100. Join the thousands of people who already view the doors. Don't wait, come now. Do your kids love fire engines and the fire service? Come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum in Elgin, Illinois, 533 St. Charles Street. If you want to get married on the back of a fire engine, come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum. Rentals of the building starting at just $100. Join the thousands of people already through the doors. Don't wait, come now. Do your kids love fire? Welcome back in, everybody. Sorry, having some technical issues at the moment. And stuff went some haywire on me for a second. But welcome back in to the Chicago Sports Mayhem Talk Show. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, here on the Chicago Sports Mayhem YouTube channel. With me tonight is special co-host Ernie Krause yet again. We had some technical difficulties going into break. He is working on those right now, and we'll be back with us shortly. But we're going to talk about, before we went to break, we were going to talk about some baseball. Baseball, yes, people, that's what I mean. Baseball. And a lot of stuff has been going on when it comes to the city of Chicago. And it's just, like we said, it needs to be unpacked on so many levels. And Ernie is back with me yet again.
You can see me again.
Yes, we could see you again. Well, they're going to in a minute. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Ernie is back. Our battery died on your camera for a minute there.
Yes, it did. But thankfully, there were some spare batteries, and I was able to swap it out.
This is true, and that's a good thing. But
Indeed.
before we went to break, Ernie, we were going to talk about some baseball.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that needs to be talked about, first and foremost, is the White Sox record as it stands right now. You want to start us off, talk about that, Ernie?
Yes. So currently, the White Sox, they are tied for first place with Cleveland. They are currently sitting at 38 and 33, although from the looks of it, it might be 38 and 34 because now it is 9-3 Yankees in the middle of the sixth.
You had to say that to me.
If there is an Achilles heel to the White
You
Sox,
had to
it's
say
going
that
on
to
the
me.
road because on the road, when they're at home, they're fantastic. They are fantastic. They've won 8 straight home series and, of course, took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. But on the road, this is rough. 14 and 21. Thank God they are in a weak division. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to make the playoffs if you can't win that many ball games when you're away from home. That I think is truly the Achilles heel of the White Sox.
Okay, yeah.
I say most other aspects of them are good, and like I said, thankfully with how their division is, it's definitely plays in their favor.
Yeah, I mean it does, and thankfully they've been able to stay even keel with Cleveland a little bit. And we got a home series coming up against Cleveland very shortly here.
That should be good.
And like you just said, I mean, the record on the road is not as good as their record at home.
No.
So I think it only bodes well for the Southsiders that they have to take on the either first or second place team when they get to them at home. And you could gain some little ground there that's not keep flipping and flopping half a game, because that's starting to get to me, folks.
Yeah,
I will
maybe
admit
it's a good
that
thing
is
that they
starting
played the
to
Braves
get to
and
me.
the Dodgers at home. Otherwise, if they had to go to Truist or Dodger Stadium, it would not have been pretty for them.
All right, well, since we're talking about the White Sox, and I just want to talk about something here, Ernie, that just who's going to be doing better at the end of the year, I think is the big thing.
Well,
And I'm putting the graphic up with their records.
All right.
And it says who will finish at the season with a better record. And right now, when you look at it, yeah, the Cubs have been playing so-so baseball lately, and all that, but their record is not that much worse than the Chicago White Sox as it sits right now. I mean,
No,
you're
it is
looking
not.
at this Thursday night as it sits right here, June 17th. The Cubs are 38-36, and the White Sox are 38-33. So really, only what separates them is the 3 losses the Cubs have.
Yes. Yes, I will say that. And it's definitely also quite a difference in the division that they play. And like I said, the AL Central generally is pretty weak. There have been years where the AL Central has been strong, but they are few and far between. Whereas the NL Central this year is a very strong division. I mean, the Reds and the Pirates aren't even that far behind the Cubs. And you've got Cardinals who are supposed to be in a rebuilding year, but you know, maybe they got that devil magic back. I don't know. And then the Brewers just find ways to win. They'll lose stars, and then they've got guys come up in the farm system. And I almost want to kind of jump ahead a little bit, but I think that's what the Cubs are currently missing. Like that. That guy that's buzzing around at like Myrtle Beach or South Bend or Iowa. It's like, oh my God, he could really do a lot for the Cubs. Whereas you always hear that with the White Sox.
Yeah.
Oh man, this guy's doing really well for Charlotte. I can't wait till he gets called up.
Yes. And here's the thing with the Cubs. And I've said this so many times. They spent so many years building within their farm system to get PCA, Moises Ballesteros, and so many other guys ready within their farm system. And I believe now that they've called up 95% of those guys, and I just don't think that they're performing at the level the Cubs were expecting yet. Yes, PCA is picking it up at the plate. He's starting to get hot again. Thank you. To everything in the planet that started to happen. But we know, Ernie, you and I as baseball and sports pundits, that Alex Bregman historically has a horrible first half to the season.
No. And the frustrating thing is that he's been in the league for a decade. You would think that he was able to get around that, and I'm trying to avoid saying anything about trash cans in his early career.
See, that's the thing. And I've constantly said that he is now in a division where he cannot afford to have that slow first half.
It's where the Astros used to be.
They're 5-5 in their last 10 games, the Cubs.
Yeah,
and
it's been very mediocre, and it took them a month to even win another series, and that was against the Giants in San Francisco, although they should not have lost their home series against the Giants beforehand. That was just pathetic, especially that 18-3 game.
Right. And I just think that everything going on with them, just stuff needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. It's very frustrating from a fan's perspective. And in the meanwhile, you see what's going on the South Side, and things are working infinitely better. You've got a younger team in the White Sox, and the thing is, when it comes to the Cubs guys, they can't really be demoted. Like PCA's contract or Dansby Swanson's contract, like you can't really demote them to AAA because they're getting paid that much. Whereas with the White Sox players, if someone's struggling, well, you can just send him back to Charlotte so he can tweak up again, and then he's back on the field and everything's all hunky-dory.
Yes, and that's one thing. Can we?
That's the major difference.
Can we talk about this for a sec? Dansby Swanson, supposed to be your gold glove caliber player, supposed to be your veteran guy out there leading people on the team. And let's just take a look at what he has done so far, as I got the graphic up right now, Ernie.
A little disclaimer on the graphic. Currently, the Cubs are playing the Rockies, and Swanson had a home run, so
So
let's
he's
tack
now
on
up to
one more
8.
home run on that. But the graphic was already made when we
Yes.
started the show, so oh well.
So he's got 8 home runs on the year. He's batting a 175, which could climb
That's
a
bad.
little
That's
after
very
tonight.
bad.
28 RBIs, but an OPS of 587. And you know what? I listen to a lot of ESPN radio. I listen to a lot of, 670 The Score. Shout out to our
104.3 The
instructor,
Score.
Dustin, and all his great people over there.
We love you, Dustin.
But they have just been irate on Dansby Swanson, and I have to agree because look at these numbers. Why is he still playing
No,
every
it's pathetic.
day?
I actually remember when the Swanson signing happened. I was kind of hesitant because it's like the Cubs were going into a rebuild, but at the same time, I thought, it makes sense. Get some veteran leadership from Dansby Swanson, and this year it's super frustrating seeing him at the plate.
Yeah, get some veteran leadership from Dansby. What is he producing right now? Because it ain't nothing good. It ain't nothing good. I mean, I think, and here's the problem. You got players waiting in the wings. I think that could be better. Why isn't Ramirez playing every day? What I mean, these are so many things that have got my head spinning.
Yeah, that's what happens when you pay your infield that much money before you've even won something.
I mean, this is true, and dare I say it, I think some Cubs fans, not all, Ernie, some Cubs fans might be still drunk on a little of that 2016
Cub
champagne.
fans being drunk? You don't say.
Okay, yes. And here's the thing, and, I get it. You're at your 10-year reunion. You got the Lovable Reunion podcast out on Marquee with David Ross and Anthony Rizzo. Love it. They have fun. You know that 2016 team is like a family. But it is time to move on, Cubs fans. It is time to move on.
Yeah, because it's seeing them struggle like this, and really the first problems were firing Joe Madden, and then.
Well, you brought in David Ross, which he was
a good player, but really, the World Series win is why he was brought in, and he was already familiar with the franchise. Otherwise, why else would David Ross be a manager? No knock on the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love Grandpa Rossi, but it didn't feel like a right move.
It didn't work out. It kind of looked like he was managing his brothers, which kind of was at a point there.
Like, he almost had the vibe of like a player coach.
Yeah, he really did. And unfortunately, we have not seen one of those since Pete Rose.
There's a reason, apart from gambling.
Exactly. I think there's a reason we have not seen a player manager since Pete Rose.
But I want to talk about Craig Counsell. Like, the whole thing with the Cubs is, oh, man, we got Craig Counsell. Everything's very analytical. Why isn't Dansby Swanson having a break or two?
That is another thing. We are in the days, people.
Because I'm honestly out on Counsell. He really pisses me off so much.
We're going to spend like the rest of the episode on this because I need to get my feelings out on how this Cubs front office and coaching staff and all this have been running things. And I'm not saying that they're horrible at their jobs. Jed Hoyer, he is not horrible at his job. But I don't know what to say anymore. If they can come back and beat a National League team that is actually good, like you come back, you beat the Dodgers, you go back, you beat Milwaukee, you take a series against Milwaukee, then I will start like believing in you again as a sports broadcaster. But they have not shown me the fight
it definitely
that
seems,
this Cubs team has once had. And
it definitely seems to me that the White Sox series broke them.
Really? It all started after that White Sox
home run on Sunday for the White Sox to win the series. The Cubs have just been on a steady decline.
I mean, and yeah, you're right. Have they won a couple series in there? Yes, but they've also had 2 10-game losing streaks, I think. Or it
Yeah.
was 2 10-game winning streaks with a 10-game
They
losing
had two
streak.
10-game winning streaks and a 10-game losing streak.
See, and that's not a recipe for success.
No, I don't know how
Not
you
even
expect
close to it.
even make the playoffs, let alone make a playoff run when you're doing crap like that.
Yeah.
And people will bring up, 2017 Dodgers. Shut up. Shut up. Okay? That's not encouraging words, all right? Oh, well, they did make the World Series and got cheated out of it. But, I would not call those teams 1-1. How about let's see at least another NLCS appearance, please. Because they failed to last year, and God only knows if they make the playoffs this year. I'll be shocked if they do.
This is true. I mean, and like we said earlier in the show, that they are 5-5 over their last 10. And one thing, I'm going to bring that graphic back up, putting 2 Chicago teams side to side. And it's just, you know what? We're going to leave that down. Let's just leave up this lower third. 38 and 36. Like I said, they're 5-5. That's not a recipe for success. Being in the division that they are in, it's just not going to work.
No, it really isn't. And frankly, this is almost mirroring the 2024 team where they were just painfully mid. Like, they weren't terrible, but it was just like,
and I'll say
who
this.
cares?
I equate a lot of what this White Sox team is doing and, to the 2015 Cubs.
Yes, I do definitely think that. And we did get a little sneak preview of that in the second half of last year when they brought in Montgomery, Caro, and Teal. And all of a sudden, this team had some new life. Now, granted, they still lost 100 games, but that's what happens when the first half just looked like a continuation of the 121 loss season. But no, this year, everyone's hitting better. Everyone's fielding better. They're getting the guys that they need to perform. Now, of course, like I said, they really need to improve their on-road performance. But if they can nail that, then the sky is the limit.
Right.
Honestly, they've got a better chance of making the World Series than the Cubs do.
I honestly think they do right now. And, I want to end this episode by saying I think that the White Sox are going to end up having a bet. Let's forget playoffs for a minute. I think by the end of this 162-game season, no matter what happens, I do believe that the White Sox are going to have a better record than the Chicago Cubs. I truly do. It's just the way this White Sox team plays, like they lost 11-2 last night to the Yankees. But, I mean, they don't let that stuff affect them. Yes, they're losing again today, but they don't they don't dwell on the past.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, this is a really good Yankees team, and you're going into the Bronx. That's not easy for any team. Like I said before, they did kind of luck out in hosting the Braves and the Dodgers, because if they had to play those games on the road, who knows if they do win a game.
Right. I want to thank you, Ernie, for joining me for this episode of Chicago Sports Mayhem.
Thank you.
Have fun.
It's always my pleasure being on here.
And I do want to apologize about those first 4 minutes because I feel like a dumbhead. But hey, we got it fixed. And like I end every episode, I want to give my mighty piece of wisdom for the week or this episode. And, be there for your friends. I mean, it's as simple as that. Be there for your friends and be there for your family, because you don't know when they're not going to be there anymore. I mean, it's the biggest thing with that, guys, is, like I just said, you don't know when they're not going to be here anymore. So if your friend calls you and say, hey, you have the day off. Let's go do this together. Don't come up with an excuse. Go out with your friends. Make those memories. Spend as much time as you can with your friends and family. And just be there for each other as well as you can be. As my co-host Ernie is falling asleep on me. Should I put the camera back on you so you stay awake?
I'm sorry. I've been up since 3:45 this morning, so it's been a long day for me. But it is always fun to be here, and I just enjoy talking into a mic.
I do too.
Yeah.
And like I said, everyone, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this episode of Chicago Sports Mayhem. And if you have not done so already, like, share this video. And if you've made it this far in the video, how are you not subscribed to the channel? If you're not already, please go subscribe, because I just enjoy doing this with you guys. And for those that are wondering, no, there will not be seasons to Chicago Sports Mayhem, because Chicago Sports does not take an off season. It's all year round, people. So we will be here all year round covering all things Chicago sports. See everybody later.